Jeremy Mercer,
What's up, Warden?
welcome back to Trucking On, brother.
It's my sophomore year. Sophomore year of Trucking On.
Sophomore year. And yeah, we are the biggest names in podcast in Dallas industrial real estate. Summit Hogue is joining the forces.
He is. I saw his first one. He sent it to me. Listened to I got about halfway through it. So
Very professional, more professional than me.
Yeah.
I was asking him questions after his first episode.
yeah,
I've always kind of struggled with production because I don't want to spend money on this.
yeah.
And then I feel like I should, and then I get tired of doing it, and that's where I'm at right now.
Well, you do it in the beginning because you're like, oh, this will be cool, and then you're like, now this is work, and it's kind of like, I don't know, is the ROI there for it?
The video is the question for me.
Yeah.
Just recording audio and doing that is pretty easy. The video production just takes time. And I really started out 2025 like I'm going to be real disciplined about doing video. And I hired a videographer guy to help me. And I was making these shorts. Does it really increase my listenership? Nah, I don't know. I can't really tell.
You know, I'm trying to think of what I'm really trying to get out of it, right? I've had some cool people reach out to me, I guess, but like, you know, I don't know. It's I think the biggest thing that I've thought about is cool about here's where I think the biggest return on investment for this is going to be is something I'm never going to be able to reap the benefits of, but when you're gone, your kids can. Like I think about Charlie Kirk, right? Like his kids will never know him really because they were so young, but he has so much content out there. They will know who their dad was.
That's such a good point. I've done 3 episodes with my best friend, and we do it every year. He was my first guest, John, who I played in bands with, you know, John.
Yeah.
And we're about to do the 4th round because it's about to be the 4th year. And we joke like, we're just going to do this every year. And then we'll have a recording of ourselves shooting the shit once a year forever. So when we're hopefully very old, we can go, let's go listen to episode 3. Remember when we were, and we always go on a trip to do it. And so that's kind of the same thing. Something that I get from your podcast, and I know people get from my podcast, is we help other people too.
Yeah.
Like I can go listen to your podcast and get in the loop on the Dallas market really fast.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not, I mean, does that benefit you? Kind of, because it's good vibes you're putting out. You're an expert in my mind because I know you are disciplined about keeping up with the market and you're putting this content out every week. And I know this is a place I can go.
Yeah.
So then when there's that time, you're raising money or like we want to go, like I need somebody to work on a deal with me that you're good at doing. Like I mean, would I have thought of you anyway? Yeah, but you're top of mind to me.
Top of mind,
and I'm sure that goes for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I've been told that, you know, it helped us get hired on a tenant account that because they know me.
Yeah.
Like, and they started listening to an industrial real estate report that I do like twice a year, and I'll send that to prospects, but I almost do it. I mean, it's cool because it's a good update, but then they'll start listening to all the other stuff. And then it's like, they feel like they're having a conversation with me every week. So I think that's good. And landlord relationships.
I think it, you know, I'll say
it's a relationship builder.
Yeah, it is. It's there was a group that I know. They own a bunch of buildings in Dallas, and it's just family owns them, and they had a property in Redbird coming up, and And they called me and they're like, "Hey, we're going to interview, Kyle up at Mercer Company, and we're going to interview Matt Elliott." And then he was like, "So I just listened to your podcast with Matt Elliott so I could know who he was before I, so it could work for both ways, right? Me and the guest on there. So it was interesting. Just hearing someone using that as a resource for that. And, yeah, no, it's my biggest challenge, and we were just talking about this, is just the scheduling of people, like just getting people to commit to come doing it. Because I don't like, a lot of people do podcasts on like Zoom. Like I won't do that.
Me neither. I never have.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on someone else's podcast on Zoom, but I've never done an episode.
Yeah.
And I get asked all the time, "Hey, do a remote podcast?" No. Come to Dallas, we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is better. I've done a lot of solo episodes. You have Will, so you kind of do that. I also have another kind of reason behind this, which is to talk about mental health and sobriety and spirituality and that kind of stuff. And that is really, and it didn't start that way at all. Like that, it's kind of morphed into talking about that, and people that's in the 12-step program. The 12th step is to tell people about like how you got sober, basically. And that's like part of my work to keep me sober. It's like an accountability. This is podcast like my accountability partner, kind of.
That's good.
Because if I fall off the wagon, which I was drinking when I started the podcast, then I talk about that, and it's like I'm not going to hide it and pretend I'm sober if I'm not.
Yeah.
So if I contemplate drinking, which I do, and it's always just better for my life that I don't.
Yeah.
But I also know if I do drink, then I'm going to have to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, then I'm going to have to explain myself to everybody. And that's just like, fuck that.
So that's, I like to call that remember tomorrow. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, hey, if I do this, what are the implications for tomorrow? So I got to remember tomorrow today.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the secret to my sobriety is create a Quentin Tarantino style movie in my head about where this is going to go. And it's dark, like a Tarantino
Wheels
movie.
Off.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of fun to make it go as wheels off as possible.
Yeah.
And that's a good helper. Like, and yeah, and it can do that. And my drinking is just one of those things that I got away with a lot. I had a lot of lucky breaks. I was super wild, and it didn't completely destroy my life or anything. But today, with like fentanyl out there and things like that, like that's a big reason why I don't drink, is thinking like, I don't want to accidentally drop dead. Like it's just not like it used to be. Yeah. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Yeah.
My health has larger consequences than when I was 25. Anyway, like that all, think about, what is it? Think about tomorrow.
Remember tomorrow.
Remember tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's so true.
So, one thing I thought about, I'm toying around with this idea for using our podcast equipment, but one of my podcasts of choice lately, and this has been Jeff and I's nerdness, is we're listening to quarterly earnings calls.
Oh, yeah, I've heard you talk about this.
And I was like, I'd really like to get to the point where I could report on my company on a quarterly earnings call, even though I'm not publicly traded. But I host a public earnings call.
That's
quarterly earnings call.
That's super cool.
And I think it. For me, it's like, this whole world of, this is going to go online, what is real and what's not, right? Well, like, I kind of feel like guys like me should be forced to report these things, even though we're private entities. So I'm kind of like, I kind of want to like start a standard of this. I got to obviously ask some people.
Because all these people that are out there losing their asses that are telling you to come invest with them, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, we've been talking to like a subset of people that we're trying to raise money with, and they all invested with an apartment guy. And, they're all like, man, I mean, all I hear is the bad, right? And that's all you're ever going to hear is the bad, really. No one ever calls me after I just send them a huge check and goes, man, that was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, when's the next one?
Yeah.
So, but deals go bad, right? Deals just take longer than expected, or, so I'd like to just I think the accountability of it. And then it's a marketing piece too, right? Like, okay, well, if I invest with this guy, at least I'm going to hear this every quarter and in depth.
Was it a podcast where you talked about the Irving property, or did you just send that to investors?
I sent a video to investors.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Like me being an investor in that, that was awesome.
Yeah.
How many people are doing that in the country?
Not a lot.
I would imagine not very many.
No, I mean, that's an asset where we just got a string of bad luck. And it's like, hey, here's the issues. Here's what we're having to overcome. Here's my plan to fix it.
I think your podcasting capabilities paid off to go make a video like that.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can deliver content in that way with the easy button.
Right.
So if you're just some regular guy without a badass industrial real estate podcast, that would seem very daunting to make a video like that. And for you, it's probably like, I'm going to make a video. Click.
Yeah.
Isabella, hit play, please. Just go.
Yeah.
But that was cool. And that would be awesome. I'm in a lot of deals with a lot of different people that it would be nice to have updates like that.
Well, I just think it'd be, I don't know. Obviously I got to talk to some of my larger equity partners if they're cool with me disclosing. And maybe it's just portfolio level stuff. And if people want property specific stuff, I can make those on a quarterly basis. But I just brought in a guy, to really tighten up my asset management side. Like I want to be geared to sell at any point in time, and so I just, I've been doing it, but I've just kind of grown past where I gotta have some more people. So we're bringing some people in to help with that. But I think it'd be cool to get it to a point where it's like, okay, great. Here's the report for this quarter. Great. Now I'm just going to go tell everybody about it,
So what's your kind of timeline for employees at Matador? You started it.
It's been an ever flowing question, right? We're at like 10 people now. Was it Dave Ramsey says business is easy until people get involved?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I am, we're subbing out a lot of property management to Fort, who's now S2. And I don't want to property manage. It's just now we do manage. I'd say it's probably Fort, they probably have 30 to 40% of our assets, and so it's a balance of, I need revenue for the OpCo to fund employees, but at the same time, property management is just, it's a grind, man. And so props out to all the people that do that. It's a grind. It's a very thankless job, honestly.
Is Chris Powers still at Fort now that S2 bought them?
I think so from what I understand is that he's around until the assets that Fort has sell or recapitalize. But I don't know. I've probably talked to Chris 2 times in my life. So
I've never talked to him before. Yeah. Does he still do his podcast?
I think he just changed it. It's now called Powers. It's not the Fort podcast anymore. So, it's Powers.
Nice. I heard he makes $1 million off that podcast.
He very well
Have
might.
You heard that?
No, but I'm sure he does.
Someone told me that. I don't know him, but that's interesting. That's interesting ROI for a podcast.
That's probably why he's like, I'll just sell and make $1 million you're doing podcasts. It's a lot easier than all this real estate bullshit.
Have you ever attempted to monetize the podcast?
I've been paid once.
Yeah.
I had a bank sponsor Term of the Week. It was their idea. I haven't tried to monetize it. I think once you do that, it becomes another job. It really becomes another job at that point. And,
and you have to, your listeners have to listen to annoying commercials. I just can't believe that, like whenever I listen to these big time podcasts, always having those ads, like Joe Rogan just busting out of nowhere. It seems like he could figure out another way besides talking about something for that long. You know, it seems like kind of like so old school.
Well, you're not forced to listen to it either. So you just fast forward through it.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if the ROI is really there but I mean, it really comes down to, like, I'm sure if Joe Rogan's like, hey, I use a Whoop strap, your Whoop straps go through the roof on sales, right? You know, it's like was that guy, Empire, the guy that wrote Empire of the Summer Moon. You ever read that book? S.G. Wynn. It's about the Comanche Indian and the rise of the Texas Rangers and all this stuff. And
did you recommend this book when I ask you about books? It sounds familiar.
And he also wrote another book called The Perfect Past. Very interesting, and that's about Mike Leach and Hal Mummy creating the air raid offense. It's two random books, and the guy's not even from Texas, which is hilarious about all this.
What's the first one called?
Empire of the Summer Moon.
It's good, though.
It's very brutal, man. If you can handle a lot of brutality.
Really?
I mean, I the first time I read it, I started it, I'd had to just put it down. I was like, this is just like, it's too much. And then I finally finished it.
It's about Indians getting massacred.
It's about a lot of white people getting massacred by Indians. So it's about Quanah Parker. So it kind of starts in Waco and works its way up through the plains. And then it's the formation of the Texas Rangers to eradicate the Comanche. But I mean, it's, you know, grandma's getting raped by a bunch of Indians and they're just filling their stomach with coals. And I mean, it's just like, I mean, it is brutality at its highest form.
Really?
And after like the first 5 chapters of that, I was like, okay, I need something happy. But my point with all that is that guy wrote that book 15 years ago. Well, Joe Rogan read it. And when he read it, he starts talking about it. And the guy ends up on his podcast. He's like, dude, I hadn't sold many books in a while. And you said this, my book sales have gone through the roof. So, you know, I guess listeners, you know, would buy those things. You know, I don't know how many listeners. That's the thing too, is you don't know. It's not published how many listeners you have.
It's really hard. People ask me that all the time, and the tracker on Podbean is, I know it's not right. Yeah. Like it's weird, and sometimes it'll be like there'll be huge spikes for no reason, or that don't seem real. Yeah. But I don't think it's capturing, like, it's just capturing downloads. So I don't know what the difference between that is. The whole world of podcasting is still so like early stage, I think. But it seems like technology's not. So you would think that it would be easier to have a good tracking system. I mean,
but it's not public either, right? Like, I think it'd be interesting to kind of like publicly put out there, like, how many listeners this thing really has, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what advertisers want to see. But
I would assume you have to prove that up somehow.
But I mean, like, you know, like, back to Chris Powers, if he's making $1 million a year on that podcast, I kind of want to know how many listeners he has to get to $1 million, because I could potentially podcast for $1 million a year and work towards that.
For sure.
But
for sure.
So
there's also podcasters that claim that they have like 100,000 listeners, and it's like a local group that has like 10 reviews on Spotify.
So only 10 5-star reviews,
something like that, you know, like that. Well, that doesn't add up to me. So there's some other kind of tracking device that's total bullshit that I think a lot of people quote, where it's like that. But I don't think that really measuring the podcast, I don't know that there's a good way to do it. At least not on Podbean. I've been thinking about switching over to Spotify for podcasters because I feel like that I've heard that's better.
I don't know. Isabella runs all that stuff, but what I know is I think at our peak we've had 1,000 listeners in a week. At our average is probably 500.
Yeah.
Maybe less. I don't know. I don't even think about that much. I think we have a little over 30 reviews on our podcast on Spotify or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that translates into. So,
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah. Like I'm about the same. So anyway, I'm glad that I started doing it.
Yeah, no, I think it's I think the coolest part for me is the documentation of I like documenting, you know, what I really want to do is I want to make a coffee table book of all the brokers I've interviewed once I get enough of them done and like make the book of like you know, here's the brokers.
Confessions of a street broker.
You know.
I'd buy it.
I saw your post about your shoes.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. Like
those are a result of your brother directly.
Yeah. Of course. You know, so I was just telling you earlier, you know, his son Thomas just started with me and, you know, I was out on the streets yesterday with him making cold calls in Louisville, just walking into junky old buildings and training him and, you know, so
it's funny. Isabella's dad texted me this week wanting to see one of our listings, which is under contract. And I said, talk to James because James handles access. We have to get the client to like go over there and stuff. So it's kind of a pain. It's under contract. And, but he had a group that wanted to see the building and and I think in my mind, when he said Tom at Mercer, it's Jeff's son, who I'd never talked to before.
Who's named after Tom Ling.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And, but he's like, James is making it tougher than a dove flying along in the desert or some shit. Like, and I was like, God, like father, like son. Yeah. Like you're just like this crazy aggressive salesperson. Like it sounded almost odd for someone in their 20s to be texting me like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess he's a hardcore sales guy. And then I said, like father, like son. And he's like, no, this is Isabella's dad. It's like, oh, okay. This makes sense.
Yeah. No, So, Tom is the sales manager. So he runs a lot of those guys, but he doesn't work many deals. But when he works deals, they're always usually really big deals. So
yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's probably like a $13 million listing. And he said, Jeff says that any listing over $5 million has a 50% chance of happening. So you need to get us through the building.
Yeah. So no, that's
savage.
Yeah, no, he's a blast to work with, man.
I bet.
But, no, I on the podcast front, I don't know. I'm behind right now on episodes. I'm knee deep in a lot of asset management stuff that I just, I was telling you about earlier, just want to get, I think the market's definitely softened a lot. And so like, I just want to make sure I don't want to look up in 6 months and say I didn't do everything possible to get a space leased or, and just be on top of it. So
I don't know if you noticed this, but people are listening to random episodes because both of us have so many episodes at this point. You can go back and listen, and a lot of people do that. So this whole once a week thing that I've been really disciplined about, and I like feel like I need just a break.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's happening. I know I have like 3 more scheduled between now and Thanksgiving, and if somebody pops up, I normally just say, yeah, if I can do it, like, come on over, let's do it. But I haven't looked. I've contacted you actually because I was listening to you and Todd and like, dude, let's get back
just
over
run
here.
it back.
Let's catch up.
Yeah.
And I got Todd back over here too. I texted both y'all while I was listening to it. But I don't normally reach out to people. I might have lunch with someone or something. But back to the last thing on the podcast is this video. I don't know how important the video is. Like I think people watch it, but what do you think? Do you think it matters?
I think the issue is Well, like, for instance, on Instagram, right? You can't put a link to your show in the description.
Right.
So they have to go to your bio to follow it. And it's like no one makes it that far because Instagram doesn't want you leaving their platform, right?
Yeah.
And we do our little retail segment we do, and Rob Franks, who does it with us, he started to create this little thing of him doing these top lists, and like those get like he did one of them, we got 1 million views on the reel.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that.
But it didn't lead to anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got some more Instagram followers. Cares? Like they don't care about what we're doing. Like Instagram doesn't drive commercial real estate people to me, right?
Yeah.
So now LinkedIn will let you do that. So, LinkedIn is more kind of where I think our world lives, but,
yeah.
So that's like, even so to that point, you get 1 million views on something, but like does it convert to anything?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's funny. We did that retail one this week, and Isabella came in, all these notes prepared. She's like, "What do y'all want to get out of this podcast?" And I'm like, "I don't know, talk." I was like, "Oh no, this is getting real," because she's very, she's a machine. So she really likes driving the views on these things, and it's kind of her baby in a way. Honestly, I just get on a mic, but all the hard work she does.
Yeah, so, man, she's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
She's been an incredible resource.
Yeah. So that's when Summit was like, "Hey, I need your equipment list." I was like, "Bella, get Summit the equipment list."
Yeah.
So
how many people have asked for it?
I probably like three to five, somewhere in there like that. So she lines
Conrad.
it all.
I forgot about Conrad.
Yeah.
He's in our group.
Yeah. So I just did we did like I guess they made it a podcast where he and I interviewed Jack Fraker at the Texas Tech Real Estate Conference, which is cool. There's about 300 people in the room, and so we just kind of volleyed questions back and forth to Jack Fraker, and
that's cool.
Interesting.
In Lubbock.
So, yeah.
I went out there last year with Philip Lang.
Yeah.
And that's such a cool school.
They are really doing a great job of trying to become something other than just the person that went there because they didn't get into Texas or A&M. We're trying to really, we're trying to claim our identity, I think. And Jared Harrell, who runs the real estate department, he's done a wonderful job of really.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah, he really is, man. He's a solid dude. I talk to him at least once a month, and he's always doing great things and always accessible, and it was fun. I took my son on a camp. We went to a game a couple weeks ago and took him on a campus tour, and I texted Jared, and so we went over to the Rawls College of Business and took him through there. And all
is he going to go there? How old's your son?
He's a junior.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's pretty good shot. He he's been indoctrinated in it. Todd and I bought Jeff's Ranch, which is like his favorite place in the world. So that's 3 hours from Lubbock. So he's like, okay, well, this is all lining up. And then he's becoming quite the musician. So I was like, there's actually a pretty decent music scene coming out of Lubbock, man.
For sure.
So yeah,
always has been.
Yeah. And, but they're really starting to pump some people out. And I was like, man, so he, he's becoming a guitar player and singer, and he's getting pretty good. I forced him. We have a show coming up on October 18th, and I go, "Hey man, I got a show October 18th." And he goes, "Oh, that's cool." I go, "You know who's opening for me?" He goes, "Who?" I go, "You." So he's gonna.
He has a band.
No, he's just gonna play acoustic by himself.
He's like a songwriter.
He's not there yet. He's just, he's not writing his own stuff, but he can definitely sit down and play a couple covers, and you know, and so he's like, I can watch him and go, okay, you can be good. Like, you see some musicians, you're like, all right, man, that's cool. But I'm like, oh, you could be pretty good, man. Like if you work on this, you will be good,
He likes roots music. Is it like that?
Man, he likes everything I like, right? Like he listens to a lot. He actually introduces me to a lot. He likes a lot of the old country. Like he listens to like Marty Robbins all the time. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Kid, I mean, is that weird for a high school kid to be listening to
honestly,
Marty Robbins?
I mean, I had heard Marty Robbins.
Or is that a thing?
I think they don't have any music options, right? It's all just rap. It's all hip hop, So if you're not into that, I mean, he's really into Pantera too. I mean, he is sitting there every night trying to learn how to play the Flood solo and working on those things. But then he crosses right over into, hey, I'm going to play this Coulter Wall song, so he's all over the, and then he's like, hey, I'm going to play some STP, so he's
it sounds like he's got great taste in music.
Yeah, no, I influenced him.
You raised him right?
Yeah, raised him right. Let's go. So he loves Van Halen and all that stuff. And my daughter, I'm trying to force her more into music. She's a phenomenal piano player, but she's an incredible artist. Like she is really good at art. Like
painting,
drawing, like you name it. Like she's good.
Is your wife creative?
No.
Yeah.
I used to be able to draw and stuff like that. I think this is all coming from my side. But she's really good at that. So I'm just trying to push them in that side of things as much as possible. And, my son had he loves playing football, but man, he had a pretty big setback. He retore his ACL for a second time.
Yeah.
So that's pretty devastating. So he's not playing right now. He's watching all of his buddies play, and he wants to come back and play next year. And I was just like, I go, hey man, this is your decision. You do not have to do this, But so that really forced him for a lot of music to happen. So it's, in a way, it could have been the time needed to develop that gift. And so after surgery, all he did was play guitar all day.
That's when I learned how to become a musician, is when my shoulder ended my football career.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I'm going to do this. But I was already kind of doing it, but I poured myself into learning how to play bass after that. I had all that free time.
It's exactly what I did. Like as soon as my ankle disintegrated, I was like, okay, I've kind of played guitar. Now I'm really going to play guitar.
And by the way, looking back,
yeah,
music's cooler than football.
Oh, it is. Well, and you can, you still do it today.
That's right. I mean? It's not going to cripple you when you're 50 years old.
No. So, for my son, he's not going to be big enough to play college. I think if my son was, he's going to be 5'9", 5'10", he's an inside linebacker. He's a phenomenal linebacker. He is really, when I look at him play, I'm like, man, you got that. Like, he is just, he wants to kill somebody, and like, there's no hesitation with him. But he's not going to be big enough. And like, to not go play big time college football, I just don't know that he's not that passionate about it. You got to be really passionate about it to go play Division II or something like that. And I was like, man, just go to school, have fun, and play music.
Yeah, dude.
It'll yield a lot other things that you're probably looking for from football that won't give you.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, no, it's fun to be able to, we built the studio at our house. It's fun to be able to, like last night I was out there. He's like, hey, he's finalizing his set, and I just walk out there and he's like, hey, I want to play this song. I'm like, okay, cool.
When did he start taking guitar lessons?
He's never taken guitar lessons.
Really?
But he picked it up. Dude, he can finger pick better than I can. So,
did he start playing in high school, or was he playing when he was in elementary school?
I'm trying to think. When did he really? Man, he started playing just a little bit in junior high, and then I got him into it like kind of his freshman year. you know.
That's good because
Yeah.
my kids are 7 and 11, and they don't really. They love music. They listen to it all the time. My son loves techno music.
Yeah.
My daughter loves pop music, and they're super passionate about it. But playing music, they have no interest, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to force them to do it, but I'm hopeful. Like, you use this love for music and learn how to create music, because your little brains will learn a lot easier now than later.
Yeah.
And I didn't start until I was 17, you know?
Yeah.
So my parents tried to force me to do piano lessons. I hated it. And then I saw a garage band play when I was in high school. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah,
That is
totally.
awesome. And that's when that desire kicked in.
Well, the piano lesson thing too is you always had this, piano teacher that wanted you to play things you didn't want to play, and so that's the challenge with people given, I don't know. I've tried not to take any like psycho dad positions with these things. I'm like, hey, look, you want to play? He's like, oh, I want to play solos. You want to play solos? Okay. Well, this is like football. Okay. So you got to like work the muscles out. Like, this is a workout. Like, so like you need to run, I go, so I can give you all these exercises to do. But I mean, if you don't do them, like, it's not going to work.
What do you give them, like the pentatonic scale?
I give them pentatonics. I give them just patterns, string skipping, all these things. And, but like he has to do them, but then the other side of it is just learning how to play a solo.
Yeah.
So like, hey man, like, the simplicity sometimes is like, if you look at, he's, obviously a Pantera fan. He looks at everything Dimebag did. I'm like, all he did was trills. Just do trills. You do that long enough, you just get to where he's at, where you just, and it just happens. But I go, but it's years of,
Doing trills.
So, it's, you got to create,
Is it trill?
No, it's just like a triplet. Just work it up. Then you work down, work each finger up, finger down, you're just building muscles, to get your fingers to move that fast. I don't, I kind of got to a point where I didn't, I stuck more in the kind of blues rock soloing scheme. So I didn't need all that, so I just, I can do a little of it, but I don't need, the complete shred that, some people can do.
How often are you guys playing?
We're playing 2 shows in October, and then we don't have anything booked past that. It's, we're trying to write a new album. So it's funny. We went out to the ranch, me and Todd and Jimmy and our buddy Micah, who writes with us too. And, we worked on a bunch of stuff. I don't know what we got done, but, it's just fun. It's time, man. It's finding time to like sit down and really, think through those things where your brain can calm down and switch into that mode, so that's the biggest challenge for me. So, and then when you're playing shows, you're like, okay, well, I need to do the right things to market the show and get people there. And then now I'm into a set rehearsal versus being able to be creative. I'm just being, I'm just being
prepared for the show.
So, that's with the limited amount of time you have, the time to work on creative things gets pushed to that. So, and then it's, so it's, hey, if we didn't have to work, you could probably just do it all day long. And
I just quit guitar lessons yesterday.
Yeah. You quit?
I quit. I signed up for a year.
Yeah.
And I paid for it actually. But I'm like, dude, I dread it.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of online stuff. Mm-hmm. And then like a lesson on Zoom every other week. And then when every other week got here, it was kind of one of those things, like if I actually did the lesson, it's kind of, it was okay, but I don't know. I've just recorded an album. I wrote songs, and I'm in that process now of putting out the album, promoting that, doing all the things. And I thought about forming a band because I really have an itch to play some shows again after taking a pretty long hiatus. And what I've done now is I got that pedal over there, that Boss pedal.
Yeah.
and I made backing tracks of all my songs. So I can just get up there with my acoustic guitar and it's kind of like karaoke.
You know what's great about that?
No band.
No band.
Fuck yeah. That's
No
why.
scheduling issues. No one's showing up who didn't fucking prepare. And
I mean, like, yeah, whenever I've got some time, I now, and I had to figure out that pedal. I just have no clue about technology.
that's a tough pedal to work too. It has a lot. I bought one of those and I failed. I never got it.
I made
rolling.
it real simple. So I changed the functions of the buttons. So I just got like play, stop on one of them. And I got track up and track down.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing any looping. I've got the tracks where I removed the vocals, had this guy remove the vocals for me. And it's been fun. And now I can just plug in and it's like jamming with the band that I assembled for the studio, who are all awesome players and all these parts that I helped kind of put together, but don't have to worry about anything except for me staying on, you know? And I feel like, is this lame? You know, like I've got that, like, is this lame thing? But it's also like, I'm a dad that wears a fanny pack at this stage. So who cares? It's original music and not having a band is awesome.
Yeah.
Having a band was cool. No, I mean, like, I think it could be cool if there were the right people, but I don't have the time to go rehearse and do that, but I can go plug this thing in if I've got a 30-minute break and play 10 songs and just feel like I just rocked out.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, that's what, it's like I was saying earlier, bands are easy till people get involved. That's the challenge. I don't know. It's doing original music with people it's very emotional. It's very, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of a band as from a dictatorship position to a degree.
This is like a solo dictatorship monarchy.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, working on that. And let's wrap this interview up with the real estate business. What's happening in the world of private equity. And I mean, how many deals do you own now?
I don't know. We're like 1.3 million feet. We're, I don't know how many buildings that is, probably a little over 30-ish projects, some are multi-tenant.
When did you start?
21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
Yeah. Really my favorite, the where we end up a lot right now is our credit side. It's just doing those deals, and that's just a lot simpler,
And that's if someone needs money.
Yeah.
And you have investors that give you money. You select some person that needs quick cash and don't want to have to go to the bank, and they'll pay you an elevated interest rate.
So it's really it's hard money lending for commercial real estate. That's simplicity. I mean, you can call it private credit or debt fund or structured finance. Those are all, cool terms, but it's just hard money lending, So it's instead of a house flipper needing money to flip a house, it's a retail developer that has a pad under contract and, has a lease signed with, XYZ tenant and hey, I need a couple $1 million to do this. Y'all fund it and I'll pay you this, and then we'll flip out of it and move on to the next one. So we'll sometimes just, sometimes they will have a bank loan in front of us. And so we have a product for that, I guess. And then sometimes we're just the full stack on it. So, which then we're using a bank behind it. So,
yeah,
but the great thing about it, there's no speculation in it, right? Like that's where, as you get older, I think in real estate, you want less speculation. You just, vacancies come with their own set of headaches, and, it's great. The other side is you don't have to figure too much out. Like by the time the deal gets to us, it's been vetted out pretty hard. And you have a developer who's got some good experience that, has vetted this site out. Then you have somebody like Chipotle who has vetted the site out because they're ready to sign a 20-year lease on it, So they have a pretty in-depth real estate department. So by the time it gets to us, it comes to us on a nice clean budget and,
Are you taking, is that something like someone like me can invest in your debt fund?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you pay out dividends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is that how it works?
Pays monthly. Yeah, because everything we do in the debt fund is we require current payment from the sponsor.
Yeah,
and whether we fund an interest reserve, which we'll hold, and but like current cash flow is that game. Like that is our big thing.
So if someone skips like a month or something and can't pay you, then do you get to take the property over?
Well, we're kind of in that we're kind of in a position where we can just take the thing over, period. If we had to, we don't want to, but usually what we'll do is that, the project say the project's going to estimate to take 15 months.
Yeah.
Well, we'll fund them an 18-month reserve, like a bank would fund you a reserve, right? And we actually just hold it, and we keep it, and we put it as a liability on our balance sheet, and we reduce it every month as their payment. Now, if the deal gets a little long in the tooth, then what they will do is they'll start accruing, but the good thing is by month 18, the tenants moved in and paying rent. So then we're scraping cash flow.
Yeah.
So it might not be the yield we were getting on the money, but it's at least probably like a 7.5 to 8 on Murphy's fuel station credit.
Yeah.
So then the deal sells a couple more months down the road, and we square up at the end of it based on what any accrual was.
So I know the story of how you decided to start buying commercial real estate, because it's kind of like obvious for any broker to at least contemplate doing that.
Sure.
But then when did the light bulb go off on the debt fund?
So I've always kind of ran into these situations where I've lent money. When I had Mercer Metals, I got in a situation where I had to go to a debt fund, and I saw what they charged me and how they did it. And I was like, I need to get in that business.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So I had a deal come to me. I had a listing. This was about 6 years ago. Guy wanted 1.7 for his building, would always take 1.6. Got an offer, full price, 1.7 with 600,000 down at 8% interest. And I was like, hey man, you need to do this. And he was like, I don't want to do owner financing. I was like, you sure? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. I go, you said you'd take 1.6, right? And he goes, yeah. I go, okay, I'll pay you 1.6. So actually me and Romy at Cantex started doing a lot of these loans. And so me and Romy bought that deal. We contracted it at 1.6, assigned it at 1.7. Guy put 600,000 down. We went and got a bank loan at 4% for 80% of the value, and then lent that money from at 4% out at 8%. And then me and Romy put $100,000 each in it, and that put $200,000 in equity into it. And we loaned our money out at 8. So it blended up to like a 20, and just being the bank. And it was so funny because this guy had created, over the last 7 years, a building in Brook Hollow, the values shot up significantly.
Yeah.
This building's probably worth, 2.7 now, or $3 million. And, he came a year out. I called him. I said, hey man, you do not need to be paying us this rent. You've got a good business. Let me hook you up with the bank. I got him a bank with a loan in the low 6s. And man, he just couldn't get his paperwork together for a year. So the fund took him out, took me and Romy out. And now the loan's still in my fund now. And I renewed him at 12%.
Because you're just like, he would rather pay the higher interest than deal with the bank. Yeah.
Or just get your shit together. I was like, hey man, I'll help you get a bookkeeper. And
I called Will about buying this house. Did
Yeah.
he tell you?
Yeah.
Because for me to go get a bank loan, and I'm sure for you it's probably similar if you're looking to, I mean, I don't know, you're in the business of
Yeah, I
getting
get
all
a
these
lot of
bank
loans,
loans,
so.
so it's different. I don't. And the way that they comb through like every K1 on every deal that I'm in for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And they're like asking for the Boys Named Sue K1 from 2021.
I
Like
believe it.
it's $50. Like,
Yeah.
what do you fucking care?
Yeah.
And you know, my cousin Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's my accountant now. And I mean, Logan should have got, paid $100,000
For doing the loan on this
just getting
deal.
my loan handled. Cause I just like, I can't, because I was at that point where I knew what was coming and how much paperwork is involved to go get a loan. And it's so ridiculous. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's really cool.
So yeah, so I just got to the point
I want to
where
invest. I want to invest in the debt fund.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
call Isabella.
I will.
But yeah, so then me and Romy did another loan on a guy that needed working capital for his business and had equity in his real estate. We did that deal, exited that. And then just kind of, I was like, man, there's a need for this out there. There's a need for this money. And then we started getting into cutting pref checks for retail deals. And, so we've cycled a bunch of those, but we did a loan we did an $8.3 million loan last week for a guy down in Waco on a big box deal but fully leased up, ready to go. Just the guy built it to a 19. So I'm like, if we have to sit in this thing, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
clip that kind of yield on something.
It was a big box industrial building
It was
that got
big box
built.
retail. And then
retail.
he leased it to Jump Zone and then another like go-kart tenant, for like a thing. So he's leased up and but our whole game with these guys is they're going to get it done and we're going to sell it. Like, so there's not a bunch of tax advantages, to it because it's just in and out so quick, but like it's a clip, it's a good clip of money every time. So, and
What are the returns you pay on it? Is it fixed or does it vary?
it varies just based
Yeah.
on, like we've been paying, right around 10% annually right now.
Yeah.
But we had $3 million sitting in the bank at the time, not working. Now we've got that $3 million out. We're fully allocated out right now. So that's the challenge is like balancing the money coming in and then sending it right back out and, timing it up. So, so it kind of ebbs and flows. But I think on the overall, I think we're going to hit I think we tell people we'll hit a 12 to 14. We're starting to do deals now where we'll hit way north of that. So we're getting better at it. It's like we're finding better structures, sponsors that'll take different, sometimes we're getting ups on the back end too, from them. So we're their debt provider, but we're also we're participating in the profits. So
How do you find these people? Who's finding them? Do you hire somebody to go track it down?
We go to ICSC and
You just go find developers.
Go, hey man, we got money. Like, the $8.3 million loan, we funded that guy. We're fixing to do another $4 million loan for him. We met him at ICSC.
Yeah.
A lot of debt brokers now come to us on these deals. They're a good resource. They're always looking to place, and it's they're pretty easy, we're pretty easy to deal with, versus, we get it. We're real estate operators. We understand what you're doing.
You're lean. You can assess a deal quickly and make a decision.
Yeah.
Boom.
So, and, it's, the great thing about it, like on the retail side is, a Chipotle box is a Chipotle box pretty much anywhere. Right. So I can call Northmark and, hey, will you send me all the comps on Chipotles? And, in 10 minutes, here you go. Oh, they're all trading at 5.25. What's he building to? Oh, he's building to 7.5 yield on cost. Okay. Tons of spread. Yeah, we'll do this deal. So,
are you doing them just in Texas?
No, we're all over the place.
Really?
So
all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except California, we just stay out of there because I don't want a developer to get an issue on a permitting situation. It's just so we stay out of California, but we've got a deal in Las Vegas right now. We're fixed to do another deal in Las Vegas. We've got a fix to do a deal in Montgomery, Alabama. We got a deal in Georgia right now. We just did a 3-pad site in Charleston, South Carolina. So, we exited a deal out of Boston.
How much time are you spending on that versus finding new real estate deals right now?
It doesn't take that much time. That's the great thing about it. Like when someone brings us an industrial deal, like it's just a big glob of shit, right? It's like, hey, here's this shit. And there's a diamond in there if you wade through all this, but you got to do all that.
And then you got to do all that same underwriting that you're getting handed on a silver platter on the other deals.
So, but when a developer wants money from me, he's like, hey, here's my budget. Here's my pro forma. Here's my comps. Okay, cool. We'll back check your comps. But, to my point earlier, the developers has vetted it. The, tenant has vetted it, who has a sophisticated real estate department. This is very interesting. I went to the Reconvene. I don't know if you've seen that. There's a guy on Twitter that puts it on, and it's in Santa Monica. It's just a real estate convention of, operators and investors. And I was sitting there.
Retail or
anything. It's all product types. And it's very interesting. I start talking to this guy, and he's asked me what I do. And, then the next morning we saw each other at breakfast. He's like, hey, man, I want to talk to you more about your credit fund. He's just an LP, right? He goes, I want to look at invest in that. And he goes, well, what do you, I said, the great thing is by the time a site gets to us, a sophisticated real estate operators department and tenant have vetted this deal. So we sit down at breakfast. Everybody's kind of introducing themselves and all that stuff. And the guy next to me, I go, hey man, so what do you do? He goes, well, I'm the real estate director over everything for Dave's Hot Chicken. I was like, okay, cool. So he just starts spouting off. He goes, I go to every site. I know what everything looks like. And I was like, yeah, see, that's my point right there. Like this is the guy I'm investing in, who's like all over the metrics for this site to work for their company.
Yeah.
And so like, the thinking kind of gets taken out of it. It really just comes down to what's market.
Because those guys that work in-house at those companies they take a lot of pride in their job.
Absolutely. They have to. They are driven on all the metrics of making that store work.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it. It's just, I don't have to think as hard,
That's amazing.
And it's not spec, right? I don't have a vacancy. I don't have a non-credit tenant.
Yeah.
I don't have to go make a bunch of cold calls to go drag a tenant in there. I don't have to worry about my leasing broker. It's leased.
Yeah.
So.
You bought your brother's ranch with Todd.
Yep.
Where is it?
It's in Graham. It's in Graham.
Oh, in Graham. Okay.
So Jeff has a house in Graham, and his house is on like 80 acres, and he had the ranch. He's had the ranch for 20 years. And, it just kind of got forgotten, right? Like I would go out there, but then his house was so nice. We'd always just go to the house, right? But he was like, hey, I'm going to sell it. And I was like, no, don't sell it. And it's funny, we were on the podcast one time, and we always kind of open with like, hey, here's a building, we need to get leased up or something. Jeff's like, well, I need to sell my ranch. And well, Todd heard that. We had Todd's bachelor party out at the ranch, and Todd was like, hey man, he calls me, he goes, why don't we buy that? And it's like, I wanted to buy it, but like, I didn't want the full responsibility of it. And so when Todd called me, I was like, oh hell yeah, this is perfect. So yeah, we bought it in January, man. And we're dumping a bunch of money into it and getting it, managed up and, put a bunch of new feeders out there. We've done a bunch of dozer work. We're going to, it has a little cabin on it right now, which is great, but we're going to build an additional barn dominium on it. And
barn dominium.
Yeah. So
that's awesome, dude.
So yeah, it's fun. So,
my dad and mom just sold our ranch that I grew up going to. Yeah. And I'm just not a rancher.
I'm just extremely sentimental, and that my son, that place is very special to him. Yeah. And I was just like, man, I ain't letting this go. So
it's sad. It closes on Friday, and we just went down. You see all these boxes here. Like we just went down and got it all. I tried to get my dad to just like peel off 100 acres or something and keep the house.
Yeah.
And it's 2,000 acres.
Oh,
but
my
like
gosh.
having a 2,000 acre ranch is just something like I can't do that.
No.
But he didn't want to piece it off. And I mean, it is what it is. Like I'm not taking that on, and nor could I, like, if he's going to sell it, like it's a lot.
That's 2,000 acres is a ton to manage.
Yeah, it's a ton, man. But yeah, the sentimental side, it is sad. I mean, I know, like, it's sad for them. We've had it for 40 years.
Yeah.
So, but I'll have to go visit your ranch sometime.
Yeah.
T-Hub.
You should.
We should have a jamboree out there.
Yeah. That's where we had our riding sesh the other day. Just went out to the ranch, and
I'll bring my pedal.
There you go.
Which is my band.
Yeah. That's what Jeff always wanted us to like set up and like play a concert there, just because the house is on, like, I call it like a Texas mountain, you know. So the house is up on this hill, and we have a big porch. And he's like, maybe, and they have a little fire pit down below. He's like, maybe fun if we play like a full on concert. So like, I want to get it set up there where I have like all my music stuff just sitting there too, if I need to like just go plug in and jam there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, dude. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
We're at 1 hour on the dot.
Let's do it. That's good.
Let's close it on out.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by and trucking on.
Awesome. Thanks,
Peace.
Ward.